Hello there everybody. Today I've come out to visit a place that was suggested to me by one of our viewers. Now I'm in between North Walsham and Cromer. I'm not entirely sure whereabouts this particular place falls, but it's in the Norfolk area. And what it is apparently is a little abandoned graveyard. Now I've not found any photos of it online. I don't really know anything about it, but and as for any hauntings there, I'm not aware of any. However, it was somewhere that, I say, one of our viewers said was an interesting little place to have a look at. And as we've found before, you never know. Sometimes places like this are haunted, especially the little forgotten areas that people don't really venture to these days. Sometimes there are energies around there. So I thought I'd go and check it out, just have a little wander. Apparently it's up this footpath here. Again, it's I'm not entirely sure whereabouts it is, but apparently it's in a little meadow. I was told about it, I think, about a year ago, so it's taken me a while to actually get round to visiting it. And I know there are a number of other places that have been suggested to us by some of you guys, and like, we certainly want to try and get round to all of them, but because of we've got quite a busy schedule with filming different bits and pieces, it may take a while for us to actually get round to doing a location that you suggested, but we certainly will do our best to get there eventually. Like I say, this has taken a while for me to get round to as well, but I'm going to head off. Got a couple of bits of equipment in my bag, so we'll see if we can pick up anything there. Now, this is a public right-of-way, restricted, obviously no motorised vehicles along here, but it doesn't look like it's used a huge amount. It's obviously very, very overgrown. But what I'm looking for is a wooden gate somewhere along here, which leads to this little meadow where there's this small abandoned graveyard. Aha, this looks promising. This looks like it. Yeah, I can see a couple of graves over there. This is definitely it. Must admit, it's a lot smaller than I thought it'd be. I thought there'd be a few graves here, but from what I can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe some underneath where all the weeds have grown up. Let's have a look. (1840), 1871, another 1840 and 1871. Now I wonder if that plaque there is related to this, maybe. (1879). That's really quite strange, actually. I mean, the actual village, well, the closest village is a fair way off, so my guess there must have been a church, a chapel, something like that nearby, I'd have thought. It doesn't seem to be any sign of one, unless it's been so lost. There's not even any rubble here now. But I'd have thought that's unlikely, considering these graves date from the mid to late 1800s. I'd have thought there'd have been some remnants of some, you know, religious site here. Is obviously the possibility it could be a small hospital, maybe, or it was a manor house, and these are the sort of a private grave site for the manor house. I really don't know. I'll be interested to have a little look at it up, which I might do now, actually. Yeah, I can't seem to find anything on what may have been here, what these graves are linked to. I even did a little Google search for some of the names, and they came up on the census, but I can't find any details about them, who they were. And I'd have thought for a grave of that kind of size, there'd have been someone fairly well off. Even these, you know, they're obviously fairly substantial graves. So you'd think there'd be someone with money, which makes me think maybe it's a private burial ground from a manor house, maybe. And these are James Carter and Elizabeth Carter, these two, 1871 and 1879. So it seems to be there's only two families here, husband and wife there, and then a husband and wife here. But I might have a look and see if there is any remnants of anything under all these shrubs here. And it looks quite it's quite lumpy, but I think that is just where a lot of the weeds have blown over. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be anything at all. Even here, I thought this was slightly elevated grounds. I thought maybe there was a building here, but that just appears to be brambles. I don't think there is anything under that. So, yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, really. Thank you for pointing this out to me. You know who you are. It's quite a little interesting trip over here. Like I say, it's a lot smaller than I'd imagined it would be, but it's certainly quite mysterious as to why these graves are in the middle of a meadow. As for being here, in terms of does it feel haunted at all, I don't get. I'm not picking up anything here, to be honest. They're ploughing over in the distance, so there's a lot of industrial sounds that I can hear at the moment. I'll probably come on the wrong day for that. So that's kind of distracting, and it takes away from the peace of the area a little bit. But even so, I don't particularly feel a kind of atmosphere here, certainly not during the daytime. But it certainly is mysterious. I don't particularly expect to pick anything up because it doesn't feel like there's anything or anyone here with me, but I've brought an EMF detector along. I'll just do a quick sweep around here and see if I do get any unexplained spikes. I can't see, I mean, there's certainly nothing obvious nearby. I don't think there's any power lines or anything, so it's fairly isolated here, so we shouldn't have any magnetic or electrical spikes here. So I thought that'd just be quite interesting to have a look at. Is there anybody here with me in this little graveyard? Hope you don't mind me being here. I've just come really to have a look at this little place, this burial ground. Oh, I've got a little spike there. Hello? Can you do that again? Come towards me. I'm getting very, very small magnetic spikes. Can you touch this box in my left hand, please? Again, very, very, very minute spike, but there's definitely something there. Can you focus all of your energy? Wow. Thank you very much. I've just come here today to really, like I said, to have a look at these little gravestones here, and I was curious as to what they're for. Are they from was there a church around here or a chapel? Or was there a manor house? Are these your private gravestones? Is it okay if I place this, make this spike for a yes, if that's possible? Is it okay if I place this on one of the gravestones? Would you prefer I place it on the floor? So I've placed that device down now. See on the floor there. Do you think you could come around it? Could you walk over it? This is fantastic, whatever you're doing. Can you move around it again, please? I don't think I introduced myself. My name's Luke. I come from Suffolk. Not too far away from Cambridge. Are you still there? Can you make that needle move if you're still there, please? Very slight, a lot weaker than it was though. Thank you. Honestly don't know what to think about that. I'm quite blown away. I wasn't expecting anything, any kind of magnetic readings around here. Really big thank you to whoever's here with me. I can't tell you how much that means. I know it might be difficult for you to interact with that. May be difficult for you to talk to me, or to give me a sign you're here. But thank you for trying it. I'd say for me, a stranger, to come to this area, and for you to invite me, say hello. That's really nice of you. Thank you. I've got this little device here. Do you think you could speak into this? Something that I will be able to hear? Could you maybe say what your name is? I'm just going to have a quick walk around, see if there's any readings anywhere else, or if it is just near these graves. Yeah, still getting some fairly small spikes over in this area. I just wanted to see if there's any difference between where the actual graves are themselves and sort of the rest of this little meadow. But what I might do is just quickly step outside, just have a quick look, see if there are definitely no power lines or anything nearby. But I'm fairly certain there isn't. And I've been using EMF meters for a little while now, so I'm fairly cautious about that kind of thing, and I'm also fairly aware of the distance you have to be away for them to get triggered by things such as that. But as far as I can see, there's certainly no houses, there's not any industrial units. This is all just farmland. There is absolutely nothing here that would create any kind of electricity. You can see all around me. You can see in the distance what might be a power station of some sort, but that's a long way off. I wouldn't have thought that would be affected here, but I'm going to have a look outside the meadow itself and see if being outside the meadow we get any readings. Okay, so we are. Someone still here with me? Are you following me? Can you make it go off again on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Not entirely sure if that was just random or if that was intentional on the count of 3. Could have been coincidence. We'll try again. On the count of 3, can you make it go off again? 1, 2. That was on 2. We're getting huge spikes from something. You can see there's a house. I don't know how well it's coming up on the camera. There is a house right through there. That's a long way off. Field right next to it. Nothing. Ah. There are some power lines up there. It looks like the field behind the meadow does have some power lines, but it still looks like quite a way off. I wouldn't have thought that we'd be able to pick them up here. Certainly not that strong, and certainly not at the frequency that we're getting readings on this. I mean, this is quite sporadic in terms of big spikes. You'd expect it to be slightly more continuous if you're picking it up from power lines or anything of a continuous AC source. So what I might do, just to see, is I'm going to set this down and I'm just going to not talk. I'm just going to sit and I'm going to watch it and just see if it will go off while I'm not interacting with it whatsoever. If it is potentially conscious of me being here, whatever's creating these spikes, and then we'll see if it's just a naturally occurring anomaly here or whether it's conscious of me or reacts to me. So whilst it was placed on the ground it's not spiked at all, which is interesting. I don't know whether me holding it has anything to do with it, but I'm gonna do again, just stand here and hold it, ask questions, see if we get a spike, or whether whatever energy's here is gone. But the fact it was on the ground earlier, we were getting spikes, and now we're not, is interesting. We're not getting anything at all now. Oh, a little spike. Would you like me to stay here for a little while? Make the needle move, interact with this if you'd like me to stay. Would you like me to leave you in peace? In all honesty, I'm not quite sure what to make of what we've just experienced here. It definitely seemed to me like there was someone intelligent. However, whether it was the fact that they don't know how to interact with that particular instrument, whether they've not got enough energy to come forwards, I don't know. But it seemed like whatever was there had some kind of intelligence in responding to the EMF detector. Like I say, no reason it should really be going off. I did see the power lines over there, but I think they're too far off, and it would have been more of a continuous spike. There is a train line. That's possible the train line is setting it off then. Now, although trains haven't been going past whilst we've been here, obviously there's a lot of electronics in train lines. I mean, you've got the overhead cables and everything. That's very, very close to this. Again, I wouldn't have thought I'd be able to pick anything up, but the fact I am getting quite a bit of responses on the EMF detector, and there's a train line fairly close. Put two and two together, I wonder if that might be causing it. But all in all, I can't conclusively say one way or the other. I'd like to believe that there was a little bit of interaction there with someone, but at the same time, I think it's potentially picking up the train station, the train line that runs nearby. But like I said, there's no way of really knowing for sure without spending hours here and taking vigorous notes. But it's been a nice little visit. It's certainly an odd little area. It's been nice coming here. But that's the way investigating is. You've got to go with rational explanations for things. And like I said, I didn't feel an atmosphere here. I've not felt like there's anybody here with me. It was literally just the case of the EMF, but I may have explained that away there with the train line.